Hey, everybody, welcome to Next Timeline, please. Well, today we get to watch Josh slowly expire on camera as soon as he gets back into focus. While also, it's going to be a pretty military heavy episode today. I'm going to be talking about how the military is getting weaker. I know, controversial. Josh is going to share some of his stories from his DC hike, in which what gave him Josh's butt cheeks. Josh's butt cheeks. Um, hey Hal, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. Um, and then after Josh talks about how he got sick in Washington D.C. and then spread it to the rest of his family, we are going to be talking. Actually, no, doing the meme review. We actually got some submissions. Some of them are pretty fucking funny. Hey Josh, how you feeling, bud? that's what. That's the only thing he's been saying now for like five whole minutes. So, Josh, you want to go first, or do I? Okay. All right, I will start us out. So, which is pretty stupid. Soon as there we go. Um, yes. You look like Jesus. Um, Hal can't hear you, and I don't know why, because I can hear you. The collab cam is picking up your sound. What about now, Hal? Josh, say something.
Josh, say something.
Can you hear it? How's it sound? It probably sounds like ass because he's coming from my speaker now. All right. Oh well. So,
What if we did this? Can they hear my computer talking back to my mic? Because if so, I'll go get some headphones.
I don't know.
Because I don't mind putting in headphones.
She said she can't hear anything. What are you talking? Unmute your shit from his
Let me
computer.
see.
Okay, she can't hear anything from your computer.
Okay. I can hear me 100% fine.
All right, so we're just gonna push forward as we are right now. Josh, have you heard about the They got rid of the shark attacks a while ago in your army. How does that make you feel?
I feel like belittling soldiers for any reason is wrong.
Well,
I don't care how fucked up you've been.
I'm kind of I'm kind of for the shark attack because we've both been through it. Boot camp is not
Didn't make,
boot camp. You didn't go through the shark attack?
I did. Didn't make me a better soldier.
No, it didn't. But
Made me hate my NCOs. And then when you become an NCO, you've learned all these toxic traits, like a man or a young boy who grows up watching his father beat on his mother and then grows up to beat his wife.
yeah, I can see that.
And
But
why perpetuate it?
on the same token of that, boot camp is supposed to break you down. Like you're not supposed to be comfortable in red phase, which is not a phase anymore apparently, or it's a different phase. It's yellow phase now.
Yeah, but what's the point in non-constructive criticism? Telling me that I'm wrong and then having me do 100 push-ups and then me going, you know what? I mean, there's a reason why men used to volunteer by the thousands and thousands at every station just to join the military. And now we can't meet minimum requirements.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I could go join the military and get all this free housing, but they're going to turn me into a piece of shit for the rest of my life. No, I think I'll pass on that one.
So you're for kind of the modernization of the military in terms of culturally getting it more inclusive and open to more emotional support versus, which makes sense because the suicide rate amongst veterans is obscene.
Yeah, it's like we have to be hardened killers, obviously, but at the same time, that doesn't have to come at the devaluation of everybody as who they are as a person.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about this. I was just thinking about this the other day, and I'm thinking about starting a TikTok series on it. Maybe even but the female soldiers who got it and got pregnant and got out.
Yeah.
Any long-term female in the military is married to a law enforcement officer and another military member. They literally like you're married to a non-military member. I'm married to a non-military member, but that's because just weirdness. Like I married Brittany before I even joined. Oh no, that's not true. I dated Brittany before I joined and then married her a year in. Um, but think about if you're just a random dude, would you be able to marry some chick who had deployed and like killed other people and you're just like a fucking
Sorry, Chad is saying that your mic's not working, but I can hear you. It says you keep cutting out.
I can hear myself right now.
Um,
Maybe I just need to be closer.
maybe so they can hear you.
Anyway.
So you can hear all your sniffling and your sneezing and your gasping for your last vestiges of life.
By the way, back to what I was saying. Could you imagine being like the manager of a KFC and then knowing that your wife was deployed and like shot at terrorists and shit? Like, it's not a dynamic that most men can handle. Normal men. Like, if I found out my wife shot at terrorists, I'd be fucking enthusiastic.
Samesies. Yeah, I can see that. It definitely takes a strong person to be married to a veteran, though. Like, especially an active duty veteran, because they're gone, they're facing danger. They're going through emotional and traumatic stuff, but in a way, so is a spouse. Knowing every day that they might get a letter from the government saying, "Sorry, we regret to inform you, so and so passed away at that." That's crazy, but it kind of builds to my point that boot camp's supposed to be uncomfortable. Um, you're supposed to hate it. It's supposed to build you up. Now, can they do it in more constructive ways? Yes, I agree with you on that. There can be more constructive ways of going about it, but at the same time, we can't take all the sharp edges out of boot camp because when you're in combat, there's nothing taking the sharp edges away. There's no timeouts or I need a breather. It's fucking chaos. It's deadly, bloody, shitty chaos that you got to wade yourself through, and that takes a strong person. So, like, if you're getting yelled at or screamed at and you break down, what are you gonna do when there's bullets flying over your head? So that I get your point on the shark attack being kind of a relic and irrelevant, but at the same time, I really don't think we should soften our boot camp standards very much, especially to cater for recruitment.
I'm gonna let you slide on this one since you went through Army basic training. Because I know in the Navy, your guys' biggest punishment is they take your fabric softener away.
It is. They take our glasses so we can't read our books.
Can't.
Fuckers.
Everybody's home if all the paper's wet.
Navy boot camp. I went to Fort Leonard Wood for Army boot camp, which is one of the harder ones. At least back in the day it was. I don't know how it is
There's no
now.
such thing as harder and not harder in the Army. I think you're misconstruing the fact that these used to be MOS dependent. That's not how the Army's worked since the 80s.
Mine was MOS dependent. When I went in,
no,
all the MPs went to Fort Leonard Wood.
All the MPs go to Fort Leonard Wood because your AIT is there afterwards, but they're not MOS dependent. Other people went to Fort Leonard Wood.
Yeah, combat engineers.
Exactly. They're not MOS dependent. So every job used to have it. Clerical used to go to Jackson. Clerical doesn't go to Jackson anymore.
Relaxing Jackson.
They used to be MOS dependent. They are no longer MOS dependent.
Okay, well, I will take your word because you were in the Army much longer than me, so I will take your word for that.
The only place that you go that sucks is
Fort Bragg.
Fort Bragg.
That is MOS dependent, isn't it? Well,
that and because it's all the infantry go
there. When I just know when I was in boot camp, that was the scuttlebutt. Leonard Wood wasn't as hard as Fort Bragg, but it was still harder than Fort Jackson. Because I went to boot camp in Fort Jackson as well as like a refresher. And boy, but then again, I was already a soldier. I was already in the military. I was already a soldier. At the time, I was a sailor. But the drill sergeants treated us much differently because we already earned our stripes through boot camp once. So that could be a reason why it's easier the second time around. But Fort Leonard Wood sucked ass. It was heat cat 5, 7 o'clock in the morning. Bugs is huge bugs. Just dying in heat. Freaking, they made us. They made us get in a formation. It was like 105-degree weather. And if you were jacked up once, they made you run up to your bay. We were third story bay. So we had to run up 3 flights of steps to get to our bay, fix the fuck up, run back down and get in formation in 5 minutes. That's not possible. We got smoked so much for so long. One of our soldiers fell out. And a major happened to be walking by. Our drill sergeant got ripped. Which leads to your point more than my point. But like boot camp's not supposed to be comfortable. I'm pretty firm in that. But Navy boot camp, like Army boot camp, once you got past red phase and you got your weapons and they cooled down a little bit and you started doing the obstacle courses and all the cool shit. Army boot camp was really fun. Navy boot camp was just fucking studying and classes and studying. You didn't actually do any real ship stuff until near the end. And that their version of the field exercise where you had to go through battle stations overnight on a mock ship with like flooding and all this stuff, that was really cool, but nowhere near as cool as the Army. Navy boot camp is pathetically easy versus Army boot camp.
Air Force boot camp, you just get there and they hand you a box, and it's got instructions for how to put the office chair together. Whoever can get it done the fastest gets promoted.
Hey, Air Force food is the best food. So, Hal says the distance is always a strain, but the things you go through while apart takes a lot out of you. And then Hal says no glasses, as opposed to them taking away my glasses. She also said military stories are always it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It is because it fucks with you.
To the point that it doesn't matter where you are anymore in the Army. It's the worst. And I went through basic in Fort Jackson, middle of my graduation. Hot. Not the hottest spots, but it was hot. I once sweat in the shade just from eating. And I'm not talking about a little bit of sweat. I'm talking about like full on. It looked like I was swimming. But that was still a way more enjoyable. You could go to you could go to Disneyland for
sorry.
basic training, and
They
if
stopped
the
hearing you
guy
because
in
I'm
charge
muted.
of it is the biggest dick in the world, then you're gonna have a terrible time.
Yeah.
It's like marrying Giselle Bundchen and then she tells you you can't play football anymore. Like you're gonna be miserable. You gotta get it.
Well, that's leadership importance is important. That's just civilian side as well. A bad leader or a bad manager can wipe out any successful venture. Bad managers can clear out good employees faster than anything. Just like good NCOs, I mean, bad NCOs can wreck a unit's morale quicker than anything. But they
I'll
are
tell you this for certain.
What?
Basic training was the longest in my adult life that I ever touched my dick.
Yeah.
Not a single time. I don't even think I had an erection.
Remember that rumor that those little gummies in the MREs they gave you had a chemical in it that would stop you from getting aroused?
We weren't allowed to touch the candy.
They didn't care if we ate the candy.
You had to turn that shit in. Even the hot sauce, you had to turn it all in. As soon as you opened your MRE.
Oh no, man! I used to freaking trade. If I got the MRE with the chicken noodle soup that came with what was it? Peanut M&Ms. Whoo, bud.
The fact that you even knew in basic training what candy came with it lets me know that y'all were some pussies.
Nah, bro.
Because an MRE is enough calories for an entire day. There was no way our drill sergeants were letting us eat anything except for the entree and the crack.
No. They let us because we got smoked. Stupid. I was an alpha group. I had to run 3 miles. I had to sprint 3 miles before Charlie group finished. Charlie group was fat camp.
Bro. Look at me.
Oh, obstacle courses was the longest in the United States. The Nick at Night course is 200 yards. So that's twice as long as anywhere else, besides maybe Fort Bragg.
The Nick at Night course is stupid anyways. They're shooting 150 feet in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still pretty cool though.
They're not 150 feet in the air. They're on a 50-foot raised elevation, shooting 50 feet above you, and the pit that you're in is 50 feet below ground.
Yeah, I know. Like you can stand up and not worry about getting hit, but
oh yeah,
it was still fucking cool.
I just remember they were like, "All right, now that you're done, go to bed," and I was like, "There's sand in my literal butthole."
They we did the Nick at Night course at the very end. We had to walk back. They wouldn't let us take the bus. They kept.
No, there's no bus. They told us to go to bed right there
Oh
in the
no.
stand.
We they kept losing count. So they get to like the final 5 people and be like, oh, where was I at? Oh, better count again. And it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And they made us walk um the 15K back to barracks. And they said, you got 10 minutes to shower and then get back in formation. And then we did the ceremony where they give you that extra dog tag, the Army Value dog tag. And then they took us to the DFAC and said, have whatever the fuck you want. You got an hour. And they had like steaks, eggs, ice cream, all that shit. It was the very end of boot camp. I did naked night.
Not us. We were in the middle of a 5-day exercise. Didn't have a tent when I was in the last phase. We had to give them up so the incoming rotation could have them.
We had
So they had to turn in our tents.
tents, but they kept popping CS gas grenades into the tent. Every single night.
Ours wasn't big enough for that. Like they gave us individual tents at first, and that was it. It's the only tent you got, and then they took it away.
No, we had the big, fucking, massive tents, and you just hear tink tink tink. I got good enough to get my gas mask on and cleared in under 2 seconds. It was crazy.
I'd have just taken it. I'd have been like it.
No, man. I'd rather be shot than
Did you
fucking
guys
tear
know?
gassed. That's a lie. Because I've been tear gassed a couple times now, and it gets better every time. Like it doesn't suck as badly. The first time was fucking awful. Anyways, the military, the army, which is pissing off a lot of drill sergeants, is now moving to less screaming and more mentoring. They're not yelling at you. They take their hat off and they sit down and they have like a father son chat with you. I remember the mentor conversation happened maybe twice, and that's because somebody else fucked up and they wanted to stress to us why it was a fuck up and why we should not be the ones that do it. And then they put on their hat.
He's a flying mirror.
He's batting at things that don't exist. The delusions are coming in strong. Now, but at Fort Jackson, Jackson, they're getting away. They're getting away from the screaming. They're adding more weightlifting and just all around more mentorship style leadership. How do you feel about that?
You're telling me that there's a chance that the next leader of the next generation of leaders may understand that there's more to being a soldier than doing a push-up and running? Yeah, no, that sounds right.
So you're all for all this change, aren't you?
I think that a mentally healthy soldier has way more capability of going overseas and coming back and then possibly leading a healthy life than some guy who can just run really fast and lift a lot of weight or do a lot of push-ups, who goes overseas, kills a few things, sees some stupid shit, comes back, kills his wife, kills himself, kills his kids.
Very true.
I think that if you maintain, I mean, not just that, but think about how many soldiers not only get in and get out and do that. I can't even on these two hands count how many times I had to report for a suicide.
Yeah.
Or watch a soldier to stop him from committing suicide.
I've had to do that a couple times. Yeah, I can see that.
I had to kick a guy's door in once because he kept threatening to kill himself. He ran to the hospital and sat there with him until 5 a.m.
Suicide watch is awful. Cause
He outranked me too.
were you allowed to talk to him?
The people on Suicide Watch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fucking, I had to do a suicide watch. In the military, you were allowed to talk to him. At least in the Navy, I didn't. That's why I asked about the Army. But I had to do a suicide watch as a prison guard for the state of Tennessee, and I was not allowed to talk to him. So I just had to watch this. As someone that's dealt with suicidal ideations myself, I have an inkling of what this man is going through mentally. And so I wanted to try to, like, talk to him. But the state of Tennessee's like, you're not trained for that, so shut the fuck up and just make sure he doesn't kill himself. So I had to watch this man wallow in his own demons with no clothes, no nothing, in a cell. And I couldn't do shit about it for 8 hours. It was the worst shift of my life. And I've done 22-hour shifts in Afghanistan. That was less mentally draining than that 8-hour shift. But like I said before, I do feel that boot camp should be tough. It should be hard. It should be frustrating. It should be emotionally draining. And then the mentorship aspect of the military should come from the unit too, more so than boot camp. So I see your points, and I see your points. They're very valid, but I just feel like the mentorship side of it could should be more on the unit. But then again, maybe if the military is better equipped to handle mental issues, I want to be where I am today.
Do me a favor with your little computer screen there.
What's that?
Look up the study that showed how many soldiers during World War II World War II until the Korean War reported shooting the gun in the air instead of at the enemy. Just because you demoralize and break people down doesn't make you a tougher soldier. It was an insanely high rate where they had to change their training tactics right around the Vietnam War to ensure that more soldiers would actually shoot at the enemy. Crazy. Considering how many people died in the war, you have to think a lot of it wasn't even from small arms fire.
Do you know the name of the study?
I don't. I just remember writing about it in college. Let me see.
All right, while you look that up, Al says just do both. Loud noises, running, strong biceps, all you need. And my friend had to do a watch. He wasn't allowed to talk to him. Yeah. Well, some logic behind that is if you're not trained on how to talk to somebody that's at that edge, although you might be trying to help them, you might actually inadvertently push them over the edge. Because there is a specific view mindset you have to have while you're talking to them. A way to ask questions to try to gently pull them away from that edge. Because if you're too forceful, they are going straight over. So there's a logic and there's a reason behind it. But if you're a good person, like every fiber of your being is screaming at you to try to help them. But sometimes helping them hurts. Tatara says the big issue is the mental health care this country gives to a veteran. It's highly lacking. It's gotten a lot better.
So, History.net, as of 2006, had a study done by a leading U.S. Army Pacific and European Command General Marshall, who during his studies found that leading into the Korean War and into the late Vietnam War, in a squad of 10 men, on average, fewer than 3 would ever fire their weapon, and less than that would be fired. You cannot use our previous tactics of training soldiers to try and figure out a good way to make it work. Think about it. In convoys in Afghanistan, how many times do you think anyone actually sees who the fuck they're shooting
Oh, very
at?
rarely.
Those distances.
They're just shooting in the direction.
They're just fucking shooting. And then even with what we do to them now, they come home with 0 confirmed kills, talking about I killed so many people. No, you didn't. Were you a mortarman? Then maybe you did.
Yeah. There's also
Also, I served in the unit in Washington known as the Kill Squad. They were deployed to Afghanistan where they would find weapon caches. They would steal some of the weapons out of the cache before reporting it, and then went on patrols at later dates. One of the soldiers would toss a grenade from one of the weapons caches, and they would scream grenade, and then they would shoot innocent civilians. And then the staff sergeant in charge of the squad was cutting the ears off of the innocent civilians and taking them back to his hooch and making a necklace out of them.
I think I heard about that.
Oh, you should have. They are all serving time.
Good.
Even the guy who turned him in. The guy who turned him in, who reported that he never fired a shot at a person, that he only ever fired his gun in the air so that the rest of the squad wouldn't turn on him. Even he's doing like 25 years.
Not so much good for him, but good. Every one of them. That is a blight that we do not need, and that's unacceptable.
If you're ever interested, I'm pretty sure it's still a documentary on Netflix. You might have to look somewhere else right now.
What's it called? All right, so Hal agrees with Tile saying, "Oh, for sure."
It's called The Kill Team.
Okay, I'll look it up. Hal says things you could say to them before can have a different effect because of the state of mind they have. It was hard to hear him what exactly happened.
They were stealing guns
And
from weapons caches and then staging firefights so that they could kill innocent Afghani civilians.
Yeah.
And then cutting their ear off and making a necklace.
Now,
why am my fucking mic being a piece of shit?
Now, my question is, how did they get away with that? So, because isn't there like investigations into stuff like that?
Yeah, that's how they were getting away with it, was by tossing the grenade.
Yeah, but I mean, like the cutting the ear off. That's a fucking war trophy, which is gross. But like, wouldn't the Afghani population go, look, they're cutting the ears off of our people?
No. So, it wasn't just ears. He had some fingers, some other stuff. It wasn't like a 100-piece necklace. They only did this 8 or 9 times, but still, they were killing multiple people at a time. And pretty much, what they were doing was he was not just cutting them off, but there was a grenade. So these people were
Oh, yeah.
They were tossing grenades. They had RPGs. They were doing all kinds of shit.
That's yes, Satara. That was American soldiers. We, contrary to propaganda, American military is not immune to heinous shit like that. We have instances of it. Thankfully, at least in my experience, the vast majority of the men and women I worked with in the military were not like that. But I was in a different part of the military than Joshua. I was intel. We were the naughty fucks. I deployed. I was boots on the ground with the 101st Airborne. But my world is my world in the military was vastly different than Josh's world in the military.
I was in a striker unit, so up armored infantry, and I was originally intel, somewhat. I was top secret clearance when I first joined, but that shit was too dangerous when I had small kids. So I got myself one of them smart people jobs.
Because us in military intelligence, we're all smart, but we're pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, my first job was explosive ordnance disposal, so EOD.
Yeah.
And then I was a 91 Bravo, which is a mechanic. And then I was a 91 Charlie, which is HVAC and plumbing. And then I was a ship
Shitbag Joshua.
because I'm a ship.
Now, what do you think, chat? Do you agree with Joshua on the more progressive stance of the military, where he agrees that we should cool down the jets in boot camp, make it more mentor style, less aggressive? Or do you more agree with me, where I agree that there should be some more mentoring and less aggression, but it still needs to be hard?
Come on in, Deb.
And uncomfortable and mentally and emotionally draining.
Look who it is.
Hi, Kennedy. Special guest.
Tell them about your wild hair. Tell them about your nosebleed.
Did Daddy punch you in the nose again?
My nose was really on my back.
What? What did you do?
I don't know.
You got in a fight, didn't you, with the pillow?
I don't know. I'm bleeding.
So, how many times have you been sent home by the nurse in 2 months of school?
5.
You cheated. Your daddy told you the answer.
I'm raising them to be real strong. You can have your talk. Hey, but you're helping me with them leaves when we're done.
Okay.
All right. I'll get you out of here. Yeah.
Thankfully for Joshua, she looks like her mom, not Josh.
Yeah, it'd be a little weird if she looked like me with a beard.
You mean like your sister, Nikki?
Yeah, Nikki's like 5 months pregnant. Let's not be mean to her.
No. She's actually, sorry, Jamie. Jamie's the least favorite sister now. Speaking of Josh and his health, tell us about your fucking lungs there, bud. Because I got up on the screen now. ground glass lung, which I'm right there. That looks like 2 steaks.
So what had happened was I had COVID back in August, and I think that everyone may remember that I got really, really bad. And but the kids had it too, so I didn't really worry about the fact that like I was always out of breath, I couldn't move, because the kids had it. I had to take care of them. Well, I think actually it's an internet issue up here. I think that's my mic problem. All right, long story short, I didn't take care of myself when I had COVID, and Kennedy came home with what appeared to be bronchitis 2 weeks ago. And I woke up feeling real fatigued last week, couldn't really breathe. And I got lucky. Sunday, I just felt terrible. Monday, I felt terrible, but I went to work. And I got through it because I had Tuesday and Wednesday off naturally. But Wednesday, I felt like I was going to die. I slept for like 14 hours. And then the next day, I felt even worse.
Which is what my
Which
wife
didn't
sleeps
feel
when
right.
she feels fine.
And then, so Brittany told me, like, you're going to the doctor. So I was like, all right. The doctor was like, nah, bro, you're off Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He was like, I can hear there's something wrong with your lungs. So we're going to take a radiograph. He came back in. He was like, you just had COVID. So it's probably not COVID. He was like, we can't rule out pneumonia. But you've got ground glass appearance to your lungs. He was like, that's usually damage from COVID. And I was like, cool. So I went to work yesterday thinking, oh, it'll be fine. I was feeling a little better. I made about an hour in, and the manager came up to me. She's like, I know you haven't complained, but you look terrible. Get the fuck out of here.
She's talking about your appearance, not your health.
Oh no, she was like, you are breathing so heavily. And I was like, yeah.
How is
So
your
I came
lungs?
home.
Did you go to another doctor appointment? Because my mom was asking about that. Your adoptive
No,
mother wants to know how your lungs are.
the VA won't see me until their first opening, which
That could be a year and a
because
half.
I have to come tomorrow or Tuesday, and then they'll probably get me. But from everything I've read, it's just something that the inflammation goes away.
Okay.
But until it goes away, every upper respiratory disease has a higher probability of becoming lower respiratory. So what Brittany had,
I'll
or
point it out
what
when he's
Oliver
done
has,
talking, Amanda.
can make my shit worse.
So Hal chat says she agrees with me. It's supposed to be hard to prepare you, but it needs balance. Be tough, but know how to handle yourself without having to scream and fight. So she's kind of the middle ground between us. She also Amanda Satire says, so you have a lung issue and you're vaping.
I had kids and I hate children. The things that I hope that came out clear. And yes,
Oh shit.
I'm going to continue vaping, but I turned it down. I bought some nicotine lozenges that I plan on starting tomorrow. When I'm this sick, I'd rather just
Just
keep
die.
vaping and deal with one issue at a time.
Yeah, because when you lose the nicotine, especially if you have like if I lose access to my nicotine, my panic attacks come much easier.
Yeah.
And my panic attacks are not very good panic attacks because I feel like I'm being attacked, and I don't know why or from where, and it is stressful.
So Satire, to answer, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of this podcast, but the VA, to deal with my crippling pain from my injuries, has me addicted to a class 2 medication that if I don't take it, I get hot, I get sweats, And we're not talking like didn't take it for a few days. We're
Like
talking didn't take it for a few hours.
Tyrone Biggums.
Yeah. Like, no shit. I was sweating and I can't eat when that kind of shit happens. So if I were to take my nicotine away right now, with how little medication I can take because I'm not eating, I would die. And to preface this, my father died of lung cancer this year, so I'm not taking this light.
Amanda says, or Satara says, I mean, I had several mini strokes and continued to smoke till I had another episode of them. So I get digging your own grave. Sometimes
You know,
you just want to check it out.
sometimes it's cheaper to dig it yourself.
You don't have to pay someone else to dig it for you. That's how it is.
I don't. Yeah.
So
Plus, I already bought the shovel.
a little bit ago, Josh went on a march in Washington D.C.
Crusade.
for the irreverent warriors. Josh, tell us about them. They have marches all over the United States, as you can see. He went to the one
First
in
off,
Washington D.C.
For everyone in the Discord, you're welcome for that photo of two of the most handsome veterans you've ever seen. Secondly, the Irreverent Soldier Foundation is a foundation dedicated to reducing veteran suicide through camaraderie and humor, bringing veterans together. So I went down there with every intention of doing the march with a friend who had to cancel. And I said, fuck it, but do it myself for me. And I left there having made a group of friends that I hung out with the whole day, to the point where they felt responsible enough to ensure that I was able to make it back to my car, because we were distance away from my car, and I had won in a raffle a large American flag hand carved from solid oak that now hangs above my TV. But I made friends, had a good time, saw all the monuments. And if you follow the TikTok, you got to see my beautiful legs.
Now,
because I was in Stokies.
Yeah. Now that's one of the best parts about being in the military, though, is the ability to instantly kind of connect with any other veteran that's around you through shared experience. It doesn't matter what branch you are. Like, we might give each other some hazing, but at the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters in arms, and we can hang out and bullshit like we've known each other our whole lives, just trading stupid shit we've seen. And you see a lot of stupid shit.
Every one of the guys I hung out with that day were Marines, and so we did that, and then it also gave me the opportunity to go see my best friend in the Army, brother for life, and me and him got to hang out in Alexandria, which was awesome because I hadn't seen him in 4 or 5 years. Actually, I think it was 6. And we rode those scooters that they're all over town.
Yeah.
Those were cool.
They got those in Canton now.
Yeah. We rode those, and those things, they whip.
Can you imagine fucking those scooters when we were kids, we had to walk everywhere.
It would have made it so much easier. Me and Justin not having to do that 2.5 mile walk to your house every
Yeah.
other fucking day.
They'd walk to my house, and then we'd walk to Circle K, which is the halfway point between our houses. Then we'd walk to Justin's. Then we'd walk to Josh's. Then we'd walk to mine. Then we were walking like 10, 15 miles a day.
There was a reason I was a good runner when I got to the army.
When they check my blood pressure, they're like, "Wow, you run every day, don't you?" No, just a whole bunch of walking.
But we did some videos. There was a weird thing that happened while we were there though, in March. Somebody who must have known someone else from their service. They must not have liked each other. Am I coming through clearly?
Yeah, you draw to me.
I'm gonna have to get a Wi-Fi extender.
Next time, I'm wondering if we should get an Xbox game party and do it that route. We'll have to test it.
But so they must not have liked each other because the dude posted an airdrop of the other guy's arrest record. Which is fucked up.
That's pretty funny though. Fucked up, but it's pretty funny. Hal says she loves. She says it's great to watch my dad just make friends with random people so easily because they were both military, and she doesn't walk because she walks like a retard and don't drink enough water. So when she does, her leg hurts.
Okay, so let's move on because I'm at 37%.
27%.
I will, and I promise, come up with something for next week. I just have been so dead. I don't know if you can tell.
No, you're good. So now we're moving on to the memes. So
I started my own campaign on Crusader King.
Yeah.
I am the king of the Roman Empire. Somebody revolted and took my kingdom of Italy. I fucking murdered it.
All right, so we're gonna do each picture, and this one is Brandon. As soon as I can find it. Let me save it real quick. I'm in the middle of something, Tamerlan. All right, so now that I had to save them from the Discord, because I saved them to the Discord. And it, what the hell? Okay. This one is made by Discord user Captain Redbeard or Brandito. When I don't know if you're watching the podcast as well, Josh, but it says when you hear Jeffrey Dahmer is in town.
I'm watching it, but it's not up yet. There it is. Who made it?
Brandon.
Brandon, you can move
it. I found it pretty funny. All right, next one is made by our own Experiment. Save image. Save.
What do they get for winning?
March. of their choice. Now, try to guess that. It took me a minute to guess what it says. What that little long ass.
Okay, so the lower portion of it says, "I know what the fuck I did, and what the fuck I do.
All right, so it says
I don't give a fuck what bitch gonna."
got to say about
bitch
me.
got to say.
About me, I know what the fuck I did and what the fuck I didn't do.
Okay. 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. What was the first one? What do you think, chat?
4 out of 10.
So far, Brandon's winning in that department.
The only reason is because it takes too much.
Thinking?
Well, yeah, and it could, if you applied the letters in any other different way, you honestly could try and make it. So I don't give a fuck what about. Oh, I don't give a fuck white ass bitches got to say about me. See?
Yeah. You can
You can make it whatever you want.
You can finagle it. All right,
Yeah.
and this one is submitted by Raven. She used to be a Discord member. She had to leave for personal reasons, but she did submit this.
Who?
Raven. She went by Masquerade as well. She had a couple
Why
names
did she
in
leave the Discord?
personal. She stepped
She
back
hates
from. No, it had nothing to do with us. Anyways, it just says when Joshua walked in.
You damn straight. Raven, you know what it is. You don't know. I must have been the personal reason.
So, who won the first picture? Brandon, Experiment, or Raven?
Raven. No. I'm not. I'm giving it to Experiment.
Giving it to Experiment?
Yes. One, because I don't want Brandon getting merch because he never leaves his house. Now, granted, would he be the largest billboard? Um,
No, she watches the stream.
Okay. Raven.
Raven wins. All right. So the next, we'll give Experiment an honorable mention.
He gets one for creativity.
She gets more though because she won the first one because she was the only one that submitted anything. So she gets something herself.
I'll send her a dick print.
she might like that. All right. This one also submitted by Brandon. Kat tried to submit something and it was the exact same thing, so I told her. I sent her back a text saying no. Brandon already sent that. Me and you at the altar, and it says, "When the bride never showed, but your homie got your back."
7 out of 10.
I mean, we did get married.
We did.
And the last one, also submitted by Raven, when nobody else would have James.
Which gets an 8 out of 10 due to your current living situation. Now she gets her choice of
All right, now that's technically Dose wins So do you want a stripper of our first title from the first meme and give it to
Yeah.
someone else?
Give it to Experiment.
Okay. So Experiment, she's not here because she's out to lunch. The bitch. She gets merch, and same with Raven. I will be sending it to him some point soon.
I'm hungry
Now, should we make one of these memes a t-shirt?
now. I thought there was more memes.
Nope, just those 5. Those are all the submissions that we got. Me and you's not allowed to submit memes because it'd be biased.
Oh, did you make all those ones about me?
What do you mean? No, those are Brandon's. I can show those too.
Like the one that says when he whips it out?
Yeah. Hold on a second. I'll pull those up too for the people that's not in our Discord that's watching, because we have a couple. This was created by Captain Redbeard, also known as Brandon. And this is the shirt that you can buy. That's a nice shirt. That's a nice looking shirt. I like it. I might buy it. I might wear it. And this is a meme he made about yours truly, back when I had a man beard and not this short, retail, management friendly beard. The guy your mom warned you about with the free candy van. Also, very good. And
Yeah. that one fits. Because you look like if the Unabomber was birthed from Sauron.
that's the shirt that you can buy from that.
You know
Although
that
it only has one of these logos on the sleeve.
You need to edit that out better. Get a better editing app.
No, that's
To
just
edit the photo.
that's just from the
Yeah, I know it's from the store, but like instead of putting that picture up and then adding it to the shirt like that, we should edit the airbrush. You could fucking do it. It'd be that easy.
that's
I
what
can help you.
yeah, that's what Experiment was saying, but I was like, get to it, bud. I'm
Yeah,
terrible at photo editing. I'm not gonna fucking try that shit. And then is the final one made by Brandon. When the girl you were smashing starts speaking Arabic. That's fucked up, but it's it's really funny. Now, let it be known, I actually have a Arabic women are very beautiful. Very beautiful.
I just thought that was a font on Word. Is that people?
No, that is not a font. And finally, but not least, Tamlin submitted some art. My daughter. 1 second. Say hi, Tamlin.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Tammy.
Hi.
You don't need to see Daddy in his underwear. Anyway, get closer, kid. They need to see you. They need to see my little monkey. This is part 3 of a 3-part artwork that Tamlin made.
I gave the first one to my grandma, the second one to my grandpa, and that one to Daddy.
Look at those.
Hold on. Keep that up, man. Hope you got to see that.
There's a timeline 2 years later. He said, why are you drawing pictures of his exes? Uncle Josh's first, my opinion, first legitimate girlfriend that I've ever seen him have was named Jen, and she was a basket case, which is how Josh likes them. He likes those basket cases.
Is that a shirt you're making?
Yep, that is some merch that I made.
The less handles on that basket, the better.
Exactly. All right, so Amanda says most Jens are. That's true, because my sister's name is Jennifer, and she is most certainly.
When are we going to stream Slime Rancher?
None of your damn business.
In 30 minutes.
Okay.
Punch you straight in the face.
All right.
No, you won't.
And with that, we are going to end the podcast. Say bye, Tamlin.
Oh boy.
And we thank you all for coming and hanging out with us. Check out our Discord, YouTube, Facebook. Everything is linked down below. And we will see you guys next time.